This week's podcast is brought to you by Four Loko Premium Malt Beverages and Spirits. Life is unpredictable and full of possibilities. Chance by chance, moment by moment, we thrive on fueling epic stories that make each night unforgettable. At Four Loko, we salute those who dare to live in the moment. Four Loko nights should be big, bold, and unexpected. That is why we push boundaries through product innovation and our live events. Go on the Four Loko website, enter promo code SBB to get 10% off your ticket purchase for Fool's Gold Day off with Four Loko in Atlanta, Georgia on October 7th. Welcome back to the fifth installment of Season 3 of the Sports Betting Brothers podcast. This is Ray, joined once again by Ron and Flad. Fellas, what's going on?
Intern Flad?
What's going on? Hey, yeah.
Is he still an intern?
He's still an intern.
Okay.
Yeah, still an intern.
Earning my stripes.
Yes, one week at a time.
He got his first victory this weekend.
Yeah. How about those Titans?
How about them
first
Titans, man?
victory you gave out to the listeners?
And not to
we
throw
disagreed
shade,
with you,
Not
yeah.
to throw shade at you guys, but you guys did come at me there for that pick.
We did.
I held
This is
strong.
true. This is true. Quick recap of, we're going to start with college football. Quick recap of some of the major games from last week. Ron, go ahead, kick us off with Penn State.
Potential best game of the year. Penn State wins on the last second. I'm sure everybody watched it. Hats off to Trace McSorley. I think he showed something, in that last drive. Iowa, credit to them too, man. They kind of gave Penn State what they wanted to do, like chunk plays, but they didn't give up the big play to get them in the end zone. I was very impressed with Iowa and their home crowd.
Yeah, it's a tough place. It's a tough place to play. I mean,
Barkley might have put on the best performance of the year. If you watch that game, he was unbelievable.
and we were talking about this before the show. His his Heisman odds right now. I mean,
I got it at 12-1. They're 2-1 right now.
I mean,
he's number one by far.
Right. Yes.
It's not even close in my opinion. He's the best player in the country. Another game. A game this week that I had an interest in, low-key rivalry over the last few years, due to how close these games have been every year, and that's Texas A&M and Arkansas. This game proved to be no different. I actually had this as a play. A&M gets the win in overtime, 50-43. Both offenses make some plays down the stretch in this high-scoring affair. If Kevin Sumlin can survive the season, he has a really bright future with this team. They're starting upwards of 12-plus freshmen. On both sides of the football, including a lot of the skill positions and at quarterback. So there's a bright future for this team if he can survive the season.
Well, hey, do you guys remember that line? It was the Vanderbilt, Alabama. We looked at it. We're like, how?
It was like 18.
It was 18.
19,
Yeah, we're like, how is this only minus 18? Well,
Bama laid the pipe.
in case you forgot, Alabama's still very good, and they showed it in an absolute beatdown of Vandy, 59-0.
Yeah.
Well, what was the yardage total for Vandy?
It wasn't
terrible.
good. It
was
wasn't
awful.
good. It was an absolute
Couldn't do
beatdown. With that being said, I think Vandy actually, hot take, I think Vandy comes back this week and has a close game
Beats
against Florida. Potentially something to look at.
Another big game, kind of a surprise, shock to the college football world. The first shock to one of the top teams. TCU upsetting Oklahoma State in Oklahoma State. Wow. Very impressed with this TCU defense, right?
Yeah, Gary Patterson.
I mean, they looked great. They were able to slow down Mason Rudolph and James Washington, which might be the best QB receiver duo in the country.
Speaking of Florida, Matt, Ray, they went into Kroger Field at the U of Kentucky, went down 27-14, and then, they just straight up rallied to 2 straight touchdowns for their second straight last-minute victory. Kentucky still hasn't beaten Florida since the mid-1980s, fun fact. And this was about as close as it gets, to be honest.
Yeah. A lot of people had Kentucky winning that game as an upset, and you talked about on game day and some of the things.
Kentucky's a program that might be on the up and coming. I mean, they've come up from where they were.
That's
able to even compete.
Florida survives.
Yep.
Florida survives. Another game worth mentioning: the Notre Dame Michigan State rivalry game. Fortunate enough to have a friend of the podcast, as we like to say, the great Gus Johnson on the call. Unfortunately for him and for his viewers, he really didn't have many exciting calls to make as I watched this game from start to finish. The Irish dominated this football game, took advantage of multiple Michigan State turnovers, win 38-18. Listen, you look at this Notre Dame team, you look at the schedule ahead of them, they have a chance to make some noise down the road. They could be 5-1.
Is that your squad?
It is my team. They could be 5-1, should be 5-1, and probably a top 20 team in the country, rankings-wise, when USC comes to town on October 21st. So that could be a big game in the college football world. And look out for this team, man. They play good defense. They run the football. It's going to be. It should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. To me, it looks like that 1-point loss to Georgia was not that bad because I think Georgia's a very, very good
Georgia is
team.
Going to the SEC championship game and they're going to play Alabama. They're probably going to lose. I don't think anybody can compete with them for that. So they're going to get there. Just a matter of how they do getting there. Are they going to slip up at all? We'll see. Kick you off with some plays here, getting into week 5, actually, believe it or not. Quick 4 weeks, right? I can agree. But nonetheless, for my first pick, we go over to East Carolina, where the Pirates play host to the number 18th ranked South Florida Bulls. USF is 4-0 this season while putting up big numbers in each of their games behind their star QB, Quentin Flowers. He's a good player.
I'm a Quentin Flowers guy.
Yeah. Well, last week he was only 8 for 20 with 96 yards and a touchdown. Didn't throw any picks, but this team is more than him. They had 2 100-yard rushers on top of him. ECU, on the other hand, brings in a 1-3 record with a lone win against UConn. UConn, not a very good team. ECU gives up 48 points per game while only scoring 23 on offense. This is a total mismatch on both sides of the ball, and I do not see this being very close at all. The Bulls have covered the spread in the last 5 games against the Pirates. Let's make it 6. Lay the 23 points on the road with USF.
Yeah, thanks for that play, Ron.
Sure.
I split my plays last week. A&M gets the win in the cover, as we mentioned earlier here in the show. Had Clemson as well. They dominated BC in the second half, in the fourth quarter, as you said here earlier. Unfortunately, it was a slow start, really, that kept them from getting enough to cover that 34. But this week here, if you're a Ray guy, which let's be honest, most of the listeners, they're Ray guys, Ron.
Sure.
I'm going to give you 2 winners, and I'm going to start here with Friday night with the USC Trojans, -3.5, visiting the Washington State Cougars. We are big Wazoo guys here on the podcast. We're big Mike Leach guys here on the show.
Yeah.
But not this week.
Big lock players and
Not this week. Not this week. The 5th-ranked Trojans, in my opinion, I think they're being slept on a little bit. Sluggish start, squeak out a win against Texas, go on the road and win 30-20 against what I think is a very good Cal team last week. Darnold had to throw the ball a lot. He almost threw 40 times. I expect him to balance it out a little bit more this week. Washington State, on the other hand, they're going to throw the ball a ton. That's why they're fun to watch. And we're going to see if their 16th ranked team can handle the Trojans coming to town on Friday night. I think not. They have not played too many tough games yet this season. Their toughest opponent so far was Boise State, who took them down to the wire in a game that we actually had, Wazoo. And that was their toughest competition. Washington State is going to play what is now their 5th straight home game. And they've got a few tough games ahead. I think they're a good football team, don't get me wrong. They're fun to watch, but they're a bit overrated at this point. Historically, the Trojans have dominated this series. They're going to repeat that in this game. Washington State has not played a team like the USC Trojans, and I think that they're in for a tough one. Some numbers here. Favorites covered the spread in 7 of the last 10 games. And the Cougars, our Washington State Cougars, have not been good against the spread as of late. In the last 7 games, they're just 2-5 against the spread. Mm-hmm. Double-digit win here for the Trojans, in my opinion, and you can make some early money on Friday night to hopefully blow on the full slate of games on Saturday.
Ray, if you don't mind, I'm going to squeak in one of my plays here. I'm
looking for number 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm looking for my first college win here.
Wow.
I think you guys are going to be proud of me.
World.
Yeah, I think you're going to be proud of me, though, as your intern. Reading the line here, just strictly reading the line. Let's look at Akron at the Bowling Green State University. Alma mater of Rashawn Holmes, NBA player for the Sixers. Yeah, it started at a pick'em. And I look at both these teams. They have played very comparatively equal schedules as far as competition. Bowling Green looking for their first win. I think they, being supported by their home crowd, they come out hot. slinging it. I think the Falcons, well, let me just say that even with the money on Akron, it still moved to a -2.5 spread. So I think I'm going to take Bowling Green State here with my first.
Getting 2.5.
We are.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bowling Green State. Actually, I'm going to go money line here. I think they're going to pull it out and win the game with their first victory of the season and my first college pick that is done successfully.
Diving into the mid-majors.
I like to get it done for you.
I'll be dabbling in the money line for you.
We'll see.
For my second winner here, we're gonna look at the first total on the podcast.
Wow.
It's a high-profile total. Any guesses? All right, we already talked about it, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm not guessing.
Okie State, Texas Tech. What's it listed at? 79.5. All right. College football tends to produce extremely high totals. And, from doing this for years, I've learned.
Would you consider yourself an expert?
I mean, I think you live and you learn, betting.
As Rambling Rodney says, there's ups, there's downs, there's peaks,
this is
there's
more
valleys.
about just like wisdom, in regards to betting, right? I think there's something to be said for having a couple seasons under your belt, right? But something I've learned is with huge totals, either bet the over or you don't bet it. You're never going to see me bet the under in a total over 70, okay?
Fair.
So you wouldn't go, what is it, Texas Tech and Oklahoma State?
I would not go under 80 points. I think that's stupid. Nonetheless, taking the over. I think Okie State comes out. We talked about they lost to TCU. And they're going to try and, have some convincing wins. They're going to try and win over the hearts of the committee members. I think they do that by putting up a lot of points on offense. I think that's the only way to truly do that. You know what we're going to get with Texas Tech? They're going to score points, especially at home. I do not see either of these teams, offenses slowing down at all. The Mason Rudolph, James Washington connection, like I said earlier, appears to be unstoppable. Rudolph, I'm sorry. What did I say? Rudolph?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where's that come from?
Michigan.
Yeah. The Texas Tech quarterback, Nick Shimonik, he's a legit QB who some say was better than Patrick Mahomes last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a hot take.
Wow.
Yeah. So whatever. I see this total getting to 90 easily and potentially eclipsing 100. I think there's going to be no defense here.
Wow.
Yeah, Texas. I'm a Texas.
I saw it at
guy,
first. I'm like 80, but then I'm like, shit, like 90 is conceivable, and I'm like thinking like hundreds.
I like to give you a hard time and disagree with you on the show here, but if we're gonna bet this, you're betting the over. You're 100% right. In totals like this, people who don't necessarily bet a lot might say 80. Holy shit, there's no way. Statistically
When you
speaking,
break it down, it's
these
3
things,
touchdowns a quarter.
These
That's
things
all
go
it is.
over. Pretty boy Cliff Kingsbury there at Texas Tech.
Outhouse's boy.
Yeah, his team plays no
Shout out
defense.
to Parlay or Die.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Hank Greenberg at Parlay or Die. Give him a follow.
Keeping
on
this
Twitter.
going here, who's going to win this game?
I think Okie State.
You think
wins the
Okie State
game.
wins?
Yeah,
Do you think
wins
Texas Tech has a chance?
it. No.
Really?
I think that Okie State might get that one stop that they need
Right.
to do it.
One.
Yeah, like over under 1.5 punts from Okie State. Like actually.
Yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
hear
Like
you.
it's just going to be up and down.
No, I'm okay with that.
You want to jump into your second play here, Ray?
Yeah, I'll jump right into it here. Going to take a look at the 2-1 Maryland Terrapins, taking on the 3-0 Minnesota Gophers. The line is Minnesota -13.
Ron sitting here rowing his boat.
Maryland, they were talking college football after beating Texas on opening weekend. And quite honestly, I thought they should have been ranked before heading into last weekend. I thought they deserved it.
Yeah.
Obviously, my feelings have changed as they got destroyed by Central Florida. And Maryland is now on their third-string quarterback, who struggled mightily when he came into that game. They did not move the ball at all offensively, nor could they get to the Central Florida quarterback on defense. On the other side here, PJ Fleck, big PJ Fleck guy, comes to this program, gets them off to a 3-0 start. This is a team that's very stout against the run. They're giving up only about 60 yards per game on the ground. Offensively, they take care of the ball. They've scored over 30 points in all 3 of their games this season. The Terrapins, for you numbers guys out there, have covered the spread in just one of their last 7 road games. And I see them continuing to struggle this week on the road against what I think is a pretty damn good Minnesota football team. Lay the 13 points with Minnesota with confidence.
Hey, Mom! I'm done with my segment!
time for me to jump into, why a lot of people are listening. Really starting to get a lot of hype with this. Looking to go 4-0 with my dog of the week after Rutgers got it done last week against the Cornhuskers, right? They didn't get it done outright, but they did cover. If you got it late, I think the line closed at 11. Rutgers did lose by 10, so, whenever you got it, you were a winner.
I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
Looked at a couple games here. This is probably the least of my favorite dog of the weeks. Gonna head to a primetime matchup. Wow.
I think you said that last week, to be honest.
I did, but this is a lesser of the four, if you will. Primetime game, Clemson, Virginia Tech, 8 o'clock, Blacksburg.
Game day.
Yeah.
Game day.
Great time, right? And I can't wait for fucking Corso to ruin this for me, because whoever he picks is gonna lose, right? He sucks. He's an idiot.
Fuck it.
Love the guy. He's got to stay.
Fuck it.
He's an icon. Whatever. Okay. I think Blacksburg's one of the toughest places to play.
Oh, it's great in prime time.
And Clemson's coming in. National championship hopeful Clemson's coming in. They are going to be... This might be the best environment of the year. Seeing what Penn State struggled with against, at Iowa last week, I could see similar things happening here. We think Clemson's very good. Obviously, they probably win this game. But I really like what I've seen from Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the ACC. We talked about them preseason, and I was low on this team. They graduated a lot, but you know what? They came back, and yes, they haven't played the best of opponents, but they have 2 shutouts.
Dominant, yeah.
They have 2 shutouts, and like I said, it's against lowly opponents, but you're still shutting out a Division I team. You can't take that away from anybody. They're Division I athletes, and you're shutting them out. I think that doesn't happen. You're a good defense. But in a game that I figure to be a defensive battle, I'm going to take 7.5 points. I think that's very undervalued. A touchdown and a half, and something that probably best case scenario is a Clemson 7-point win. And this game has overtime written all over it. You're covered unless it gets to the triple or quadruple overtime where they have to go for 2. I really like the 7.5 points here.
Yeah, if I'm betting this game, I'm gonna take the points. The only thing I personally worry about is if Clemson somehow gets out to a big lead, they make a special teams play, their defense makes a play, and Tech is down. I don't know if they have the offense to catch up. But
this offense has scored 40 points in almost all their games, surprisingly.
But if this is a grit and grind game, right, like I expect it to be in that environment, take that 7.5.
Like I said, I looked at a couple games. Another bonus play I looked at.
Bonus,
yeah, not official.
Do the fans have to pay extra for this?
Yeah, you can get this in my premium area. I think Colorado has a chance to upset UCLA on the road this week. I really do. I think Colorado's look decent this year. UCLA, we know what they do on defense. They're not good. I think they have a chance to get it done. They beat them last year. Yeah, yeah. We always got to find a way to plug in the legend of Josh Rosen. So cue that up. We'll get on to some NFL. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I just want to toss in.
Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
Just want to toss in a potential Ray's dog of the week. Are we allowed? Are we allowed to do that? Is that okay?
Whatever.
Again, premium subscription. But
we
talked about this earlier. I know what you're going to say.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. I had looked at that one.
Vandy getting 10.5 in the swamp.
This might come down to if Florida can score 10 points. Right. Because Vandy might not score.
Florida, all those kids suspended from the credit card scams and stuff, they're just a mess right now. And I do think Vandy is still a very, very good team. They ran into the train that is Alabama last week, but I wouldn't be afraid to dabble on that Vandy money line. Absolutely. Or take the 10.5 with Vandy.
Nate Peterman from the Pitt Panthers. Try saying that.
So last week we did kind of like a rapid fire of the college football game. Some of the bigger games or interesting games on there, and we all just kind of went through and picked them.
We'll do that again.
So we'll do it again.
I was undefeated.
Let's start Friday. Miami of Florida -6.5 visiting rival Duke.
Man, am I first here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Am I picking against the spread again?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna take Miami with the -6.5.
Yeah. I'll take Duke at home.
Yeah, last week I picked against Miami, and it was a good play. Toledo was leading at halftime. Still don't like what I see from this Miami team. I'm gonna take Duke at home +6.5. You gave out this pick. This game is a pick, so you can't pick it. USC minus 3.5 at Wazoo. Flad.
USC.
All this. I think this line opened around 7. I want to take Wazoo. Just I hope they knock them off, but I don't see me betting Wazoo at plus 3.5. So I'd probably take USC. Since Flad, you're a Penn Stater here. Penn State.
not.
Indiana. I thought you were.
Family.
Right.
More of a
Okay.
family
All right.
school.
Whatever. Indiana.
I support them.
Indiana visiting Penn State. Penn State minus 17.5.
Oh, man. Nittany Lions are rolling high off that win. A lot of people think they might get hit, with that hangover, but I'm still going to take the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I'll roll with the
I
Nittany
think
Lions.
Penn State at home is a different team.
I'll roll with
Yeah.
the Nittany Lions, 17.5.
Another Big Ten game. Northwestern plus 14.5 visiting Wisconsin. Matchup for the West.
I'm going first. I'm taking Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Ron. You kind of like Northwestern here a little bit. I think Wisconsin is a great football team. They're going to come out of the West, and they're going to play one of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State in the Big Ten title game. Like they're going to be there. They're going to have a chance to make the college football playoff.
Yeah, I'm
Curious-
rolling
go ahead.
with the Badgers.
Did I convince you, or are you just
No, honestly, that's
My
before you
only
even said
thing
it.
here, Northwestern's coming off a bye week. That's my only thing. And they traditionally start slow, and it's a Big Ten game. It's probably going to be a defensive battle. But speaking of like who's coming out of the East? Who's your pick?
I honestly don't know.
I think it's still a battle.
It's probably gun to my head. It's probably still Penn State. It's probably Penn State.
We gave out our Vandy, Florida pick.
But North Carolina, Georgia Tech.
Sure.
North Carolina going to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech favored by 9.5.
Man, I think the Tar Heels are going to bounce back. They had a rough loss against the Blue Devils. I like that spread for the Tar Heels plus 8.
Yeah, I'll take the points with the Tar
Really,
Heels.
I like this Georgia Tech team. I think
They're great.
their
You-
offense is.
can I say
for
something?
Years I've been on this.
I was just
Georgia
gonna say
team.
you
Back
have
when
been
Jameis Winston was there. I thought Georgia Tech could challenge them for the division.
in that year. Just a little throwback. Sorry, to get
They
off
did
track.
cover the spread when they
That
played
was
them.
it was like a 3.5 point spread. They covered, and I threw one of my biggest bets ever on Florida
This was
State
before
money
we did-
line.
yeah.
Money line, and
I bet the spread.
and you took the spread. Yeah,
Ron historically
I
definitely picks
watched that
Georgia
game.
State or Georgia Tech as like a 9 seed in March Madness every year.
They're great.
I guarantee you.
They're a good. I think they're a good team.
You just
I think you
love
gotta get a fucking jersey or something.
Maybe.
big Tech guy.
Do we see Georgia slipping up minus 7.5 at Tennessee?
No,
think they get it done?
No,
Do you like
Georgia's-
Georgia?
Georgia is a very
They're
good
legit.
football team. Georgia minus 7.5. Georgia double digits.
Vlad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this Tennessee team. Butch Jones, not a believer.
Ooh, I got one.
And I'm giving Miami, Ohio visiting Notre Dame for all you Notre Dame backers out there. Notre Dame minus 21. 3 scores.
Listen,
Notre Dame at home.
Yeah, listen, Notre Dame's rolling right. I think they're playing well. That run game's something else. The defense is solid. The Miami Ohio is a good football team, but I
Miami,
think
Ohio
Notre
is
Dame's.
a very good offense.
I think Notre Dame is playing well right now. I'll take the.
I don't think Miami's gonna win this
I'll lay
game,
the 3
but-
touchdowns.
I would take the 21 points with
Yeah.
an underrated Miami, Ohio offense.
With it being a 5 p.m. game, I don't think
Odd
Roethlisberger's
start.
going to be able to show up to this game. So I don't think that gives the juice Miami of Ohio needs. I like Dame.
Big time SEC matchup, Mississippi State getting 9 points visiting Auburn.
Mississippi State on the road. I'll take in a game like this. I'm going to take. I'm not sold with Auburn. Auburn's quarterback. I'm going to take the 9 points in Mississippi
Yeah,
State.
I
Here's an
agree.
overreaction for last
double
week.
overreaction. Yeah,
Right. I'm
I
going to
agree.
take the 9 points.
I'm going to go against the grain because I've been usually following you guys here. But I'm going to take Auburn.
Wow, interesting.
I want to
Shock-
jump and throw a
shock
game.
the
Yeah,
haters.
go
shock
ahead.
them here.
Go ahead.
Iowa visiting Michigan State.
It's
Michigan
interesting to see
State.
how they bounce back. After,
Michigan State favored by 3 at home.
Is Iowa like satisfied with that loss? Like I know,
No,
but they
you're
didn't
never-
seem like
you're
super.
Never satisfied with.
They did
losing.
not seem super pissed. Like it might be like a confidence building like loss, if you will. I don't know.
What do you got?
From the reaction I
Iowa
saw.
getting 3 or Michigan State favored by 3?
I'm going to take Iowa, actually.
I would
Not
take
only
Iowa, too.
covering, but winning the game.
Thank you. I'm going Iowa money line.
Yeah, I think that's a decent bet.
Yeah.
We talked about this game earlier. Didn't officially give out pick. We picked a total. Okie State minus 9.5 at Texas Tech.
I'll take Okie State in a bounce back game.
What's the
think so,
line
too.
there?
9.5.
Oh, wow.
I would take Okie State as well. I don't think you can bet against this offense.
Wow. That's tough. Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with OK State as well.
Clemson -7.5 visiting Virginia Tech. I already gave up my pick.
Yeah, you're not allowed
That's
to
your
talk
dog?
here. I'll take the points at home. Game day, Blacksburg under the lights. Conference game. I'll take the 7.5.
Give me Clemson there.
Wow. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see Clemson like blow them out either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
right. You're taking the chance that it's going to be a close game, and I believe that wraps it up for us here.
Yeah.
And dive into some NFL.
So, moving into NFL here, just kind of want to talk about some of the games from last week and things that stood out to us. And I'm just going to jump right into last Thursday night's game. Like,
Sure.
What? 41-39, Rams beat the Niners? Like, if someone said to you that, what would it take to convince you that game was going to be a 41-39 game? Like, how does that? I don't understand how that happens. I mean, nevertheless, when you have fantasy players involved in games like that, you're happy with it. But 41-39, the total for that game, which I said was probably a good play, was 40. The Rams scored 41 points on their own. Like, to me, that was just anomaly. Like, if they played again, I don't see that happening. But I mean,
We can go in chronological order here. I mean, let's talk about the game in London. I mean, I thought that was a shocker. Really, Jacksonville just dismantling Baltimore.
Yeah,
Jacksonville's at home in London. Their franchise is going to move to London.
I take those London games with a grain of salt, personally. Like,
you know what? Speaking of London games, great time to bet against a team coming home from London this week.
Baltimore.
Who do they got? The Jets?
The Steelers. The Steelers.
Okay.
If it wasn't a division game, I probably would bet that. But
Speaking of the Steelers, I'd like to talk about them. I mean, they lose in overtime, 23-17 to the Bears.
different team on the road, man.
That's an embarrassing loss.
Are the Bears, sneaky good?
Are the Bears who we thought they were?
The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field.
I don't know. I mean, at home field advantage in the NFL, I guess, means a lot. And
They played the Packers tough.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the Steelers deserve a little bit of karma.
That's fair.
There was a lot of people, a lot of disgruntled fans after what they did.
God, here we fucking go.
We're not going to talk about it, but I do. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, moving forward, I'll get you another game here. Buffalo beating the Denver Broncos. I thought that was a shocker.
Well, we looked at that line hard.
Yeah, we said, why is that?
Why is
we
that
talked.
line? Yeah.
Why is that line only
we
3? And
said
that's what I'm trying to say to you.
I think
like,
the trend
stay
this
away.
year,
We
teams
said
are
stay away.
completely different at home.
Yeah.
Another
glad
crazy
you're-
ending.
glad-
I
glad it
don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. Detroit and Atlanta. How about that ending? That was bonkers.
Golden Tate catches that ball. What we thought was a score, they review it. They say that he was
10-second
down
runoff.
short, and they had the 10-second runoff. The game was over on what would have been 4th down. Crazy ending for that game. I feel bad for Detroit. Matthew Stafford had an opportunity. Once again, seems like he's always like slinging the rock in the 4th quarter to bring his team back, and he did, to his credit, and just came a little bit short there.
Another game stood out to me.
You just see. Sorry to jump in,
Go ahead.
but have you ever seen the mic'd up of Matthew Stafford?
awesome.
The final drive.
It's absolutely
clock it.
it's absolutely awesome. Can't wait for the drop of that when we're done with this.
Yeah.
Clock it, 2-yard line. 15 seconds, clock still moving.
It'll be thrown in
Redskins
there.
upsetting the Raiders on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Big shocker to me.
Another one, though, where the public money was all over the fucking Raiders.
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying that the public isn't going to win some of these, but, like, as I always say, and I feel like I say this every single show, Vegas was not built on the public winning all the time. Like, that it just goes to show you.
And then, we continue to talk about the Chiefs, but, when do we start, talking about Kareem Hunt as a potential MVP candidate? Yeah. I mean, really, skip the Rookie of the Year. He's a legit...
It's tough for running backs. And it's tough for running backs. It's
Dude,
quarterbacks.
he's rushing for over 150 yards every game, scoring at least 8.
He's the next Zeke.
And
man.
Zeke looks great this year, so I hope he's not. The next
A
Zeke.
shocker to me was Minnesota crushing Tampa Bay.
Case Keenum?
Case Keenum looked like the best quarterback in the NFL in that game. He threw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
New England
Struggles,
but terrific Tom, the GOAT. I mean, dude, he's incredible.
Thank the Lord, man. That was my suicide pick.
Me too.
A lot
I
of
had
people,
them in Packers.
I'm sure a lot of people had that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
A lot of suicide picks went down this week.
Yeah.
but the Steelers too would be
Steelers.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Raiders was a popular.
Packers was a nail biter.
Anything? I thought that the Dolphins losing too was a
Probably another suicide loss.
Do we want to jump in here into Week 4?
I think I'll give intern Flad his moment with the Eagles.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unbelievable. I mean, so just the Eagles dominated that entire game. You watched it, and at no point I was like, all right, this is actually going to be a game. Dominated the whole, for 3/4 of the game, and then Eli casually does what he does. Odell, son of a bitch, making plays. But, credit to Jake Elliott. I don't want to say that I had a feeling it was going to go in, but it was just built for that moment. And the reactions of the fans, there's a compilation of the reactions of Eagles fans. I was probably like a mixture of all those that day. So just hats off to Jake Elliott.
No,
Thank you.
it was
moment
cool.
for him.
It was cool to see a rook do that. Just got signed, right, that week.
He did, and Marvin Lewis, the team that actually cut him, the Bengals actually just threw some shade his way. They asked him if he saw his kick, and he's like, yeah, isn't he 3-5 on the year? As opposed to who they kept, Bullock, who's like 4-5, but. Bullock missed a 48-yarder to potentially tie the game.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I like that. It's good. Good little nugget from you, intern Flat. On the Giants game there, the Giants they're a totally different team with
Odell
when
needs to
he's healthy.
stop trying to catch everything with one hand.
Like,
catch it with two hands.
Listen, man. I'll acknowledge. He's super talented. He's a great route runner. I can't stand him, but I'll give credit where credit's due. I just don't understand why. I feel like he unnecessarily goes up to catch the ball with one hand.
He's like Steph
and
Curry.
there's no
plays.
one better at it in the NFL. Yeah. Dude, get your other hand up.
If he was in the NBA, he would be hucking shots from half court.
I don't understand it, but
listen, man.
man.
Did you guys see his dog piss celebration?
Yeah, that was actually hilarious, dude.
I was cracking up.
Absolutely hilarious.
Let's move on to Week 4 here. I think we all like
a
Thursday night game.
Yeah, I have a play I want to talk about here, and it's actually a teaser. Something I try to cook up a teaser for you every week, and I want to start with the Thursday night game. Packers at home, -7 against the Chicago Bears. Listen, I talk about the Bears got a big win last week at home against a Pittsburgh team that just looks a little out of sync right now. Big Ben took some blame for that loss this week, said he's got to play better. They were very vulnerable on the ground. Howard and Cohen both had very good games. But to me, this is about taking Aaron Rodgers, taking the better team on a short week in a primetime game at home. Rodgers could run this offense.
Rodgers, 15-4 all time against the Packers.
You stole my stats.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it 14-4?
15-4 all time against Chicago.
Wow.
He stole
That's
my
including
stat,
your one game.
Stole my stat.
One game is you're not including playoffs.
He could run.
Well, you can have his passer rating in those games.
I don't want it anymore. You stole
What is
my
it?
stat.
105.7.
You stole my stat.
Sorry.
I'm pissed off. I think he's gonna.
Stat was gonna come.
Yeah, it's all right. He's gonna get another win this week. I actually think Green Bay covers the full touchdown. But for our teaser purposes, just winning the game is going to suffice. Chicago 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 games on the road. Chicago 3-10 against the spread in their last 13 games when playing Green Bay. Wow. Green Bay 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games at home. The numbers add up here. I guarantee the public's going to be on Green Bay. But I'm not worried about it, and for me and my purposes, I'm taking Green Bay in a teaser.
The only thing I will say, I like the teaser, but this is a division game, and like you said, the public is all over the Packers.
100%.
So
That's why I'm taking it to just win. Yeah. And you might be Packers -1. You might say, wow, that 1 point worries me. Such a small percentage of NFL games are won by 1 point. So you're good with that.
I think the Packers need a game where they actually go and take care of business against a team that they should be beaten. So,
yeah, they need that. They do.
Yeah, I think they're overdue for that.
Statistically, the Packers are kind of mediocre offensively. We all know that's not the case, but I completely agree with you. Need a big game from them. Do you want me to give the other leg of my teaser a while?
Go ahead. You give your idea. I'll give my idea.
Sure. My idea here, as I said, if you're a Ray guy, my idea for the other leg of this teaser is actually going to be the New York Football Giants. They are getting 3 points on the road against the Bucs, so you can tease that up to 9. Listen, defense travels. I still think the Giants have one of the best fronts in football. And Winston, and a huge Jameis Winston guy, but their offense has been very inconsistent. And as big of a Jameis guy as I am, he's prone to making bad decisions when he's under pressure and forcing throws, trying to make things happen. And that's what the Giants defense is going to do. They're going to put pressure on him. He's going to make bad throws. And as I said, defense travels. We just talked about it. Odell Beckham makes the Giants a totally different team on offense when he's on the field and healthy. The Bucs secondary got exposed last week against fucking Case Keenum, who looked like an MVP candidate. I think the Giants could win this game outright. And maybe get a little momentum going forward here and get themselves back into the thick of things as they do. But I'll gladly take the 9 points for a teaser.
My idea here, I like Kansas City on Monday night at home, prime time. You get them down to a pick against the Redskins. This is like a classic overreaction. Redskins win on Sunday night. They got to go on the road to probably the toughest place to play. I think this Chiefs team is rolling. Now's the time to bet them. I'll probably pick them for my suicide pick. And I also, as a bonus play here.
Bonus? Are they? Yeah. Listeners.
I like the under in that game. Under is 40, or the total set at 49.5. I think the under is a decent play. I think Kansas City, at home, their defense is going to be even better. I don't see that game getting much higher than, maybe 45. But I think the under is a solid play there. We have any more comments about games moving forward here this week?
So you said Kansas City's your suicide pick?
Kansas City would get down. Yeah. So I have two. I'm too late to get in the Packers, so I'll probably go Kansas City with one, and I'll probably use my other one to take New England.
Okay.
But I'm still looking here at potential.
I'm going with the Seahawks.
That's another one I looked at. That's going to be the popular pick.
Yeah,
but I can't trust this.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the pick. I think they win. But what do you think about Seattle minus 13? At home versus taking on the
I just
Colts.
don't know. You don't know what you're going to get with this Colts team. You don't know what you're going to get with the Seattle team. You can't. I do not think you can bet it.
Did you know that statistically speaking, I looked at this from fantasy purposes. Seattle is one of the worst teams against the run. Statistically speaking,
their defense isn't. I mean, it's a misconception.
You can run against
their
Seattle,
defense
which I think will take a little pressure off Brissett. I just don't know if Seattle should be.
Has a little. He's got a little cam in him.
I like him.
He's big dude.
I just think 13 points might be too much for Seattle to be laying to any team right now. But maybe I'm wrong. They could go out and show out this game and win by 30. But
I got a wild card teaser, and I hate to do this as an Eagles fan, but the LA Chargers 0-3. They'll be hosting the Birds, and it started as a pick'em. Now the Chargers are at minus 1.5. I mean, you would think being 0-3, Eagles should be favored, but man, that line to me screams take the Chargers, and the Eagles they're suffering through injuries right now. I think honestly,
Phillip Rivers is
across country.
If the Eagles are vulnerable anywhere, you saw it on Sunday. They're vulnerable against the pass, and that's what Phillip Rivers does.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're saying tease the Chargers up?
I would say tease the Chargers up. Yeah, maybe get them at a plus. Yeah. But yeah, it pains me to say it, but
I appreciate you doing that and looking at that, because I was going to mention that what would you do if you gun to your head Steelers Ravens?
Okay, this screams flashback. I bet a ton of money. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. I bet a ton of money on the Steelers visiting the Ravens. This was Steelers Eagles last year.
Yeah,
same week, earlier. I was like, dude,
we had
Steelers. I was like, let's pound the shit out of this, and we did, and we got crushed. That just it screams.
This is going to be a muck it up game.
Maybe this might be
I'm staying away from it. It's gonna be a fun game to watch, but I'm just seeing if any other games stand out to me.
We got another London game this week.
What's the London game?
At Miami.
Saints Miami. Ooh. Yeah. Listen, man, New Orleans looked good last week.
Yeah.
They fucking laid it on thick to the Panthers, but
they needed that.
I
think the Rams +6 at Dallas is a decent play. I feel like I always say the Rams are a decent play.
I think you're a kind of a closet Rams guy. Closet Jared Goff guy.
He's not bad. He's not as bad as people think.
All in all, I don't have any other NFL thoughts.
It's a tough week. It really is.
So it's getting to the point now where the odds makers know
big
the teams.
Game, regardless of sports betting. Oakland at Denver. That's a huge game. As a Chiefs fan, I don't care what happens. Both teams are 2-1. It's going to set another team back a game from the Chiefs in the division race. I love this game being early in the season.
If I were you as a Chiefs fan, I would want Denver to win. They're favored.
I worry about Denver, and
Yeah, I think they're a bigger threat.
Alex
than
Smith
Oakland
has
at this
never
point.
lost to the Raiders as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what he did with San Fran, but Denver, last year the Chiefs were 6-0 against the division opponents, but I think Denver poses a little bit more of a problem with their defense.
Interesting. I got nothing else for NFL. Do you guys?
Nope. Sign off.
Yeah,
See you guys next
we'll.
week. Good luck to everybody.
Yeah,
this
good luck
week.
to everyone this week. We'll post our plays up. We'll get all the stuff out there on social media, on Reddit, on YouTube, on our iTunes. Subscribe
sir.
if you haven't to
Hey,
the
don't-
Sports Betting Brothers.
Don't forget to take advantage of that.
For Loco.
Yes,
deal.
that SBV promo code for that Four Loco. Fool's Gold. It's gonna be a great event.
Adios.